From the alley-oops at Keysar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way. From off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, and we are in full off-season mode. We're breaking down all the players on the 49ers. Well, maybe not all of them, but some that we think are going to have impacts in the future, and some guys they need to make decisions on. Maybe we can make your mind up on whether they should keep them or not. But mostly, we just want to see what they're going to do for the 49ers in 2021. What do you think, boys?
Yeah, we're still breaking down guys that we think are going to have big impacts next year and beyond. How they played this year, some of the guys that actually goes back into 2019 season, but we're going to give you everything you need to know to make an educated decision about these players.
You want to be educated, especially on these decisions. Future your franchise, you have to know what direction the franchise is going if you want to have sustained success, which we all know everybody wants. You definitely don't want to trade one Super Bowl for 20 years of awfulness.
Of course you do. And it was 2 Super Bowls.
It was 2 Super Bowls. But that's besides the point, because right now we got to talk about 3 guys that are important to this team, and they are Javon Kinlaw, Dre Greenlaw, and Mike McGlinchey. That's right. It's a Law Brothers episode, ladies and gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Law Brothers.
2 laws.
2 laws, that's correct. Horace, we'll start with you, though. You got Javon Kinlaw. What do you got for us?
Okay, so Javon Kinlaw, if you didn't know, was their first-round pick, one of their 2 first-round picks in 2020 this year. He's a 6'6", 320-pound defensive tackle. He went to University of South Carolina. Another guy that had to go the JUCO route because of his grades. And actually, if you don't know it, look up his high school living situation. Fantastic story. But he was a guy that was raw, that won a lot on power, speed, and strength, more so than technique in college. The Niners knew that coming in, that he really needed to be coached up. But there's not very many humans that are 6'6", 320 pounds that can move the way he can.
Accurate.
So that is why they picked him. So the first play is versus the New York Jets. You have the right guard is going to try and block him on a run play to Frank Gore. He gets his hands on the guy first, clearly, which is important. He gets his hands on him right there, gets him extended, bench presses him off him, sheds him. Frank Gore is going nowhere. That was a fantastic play because the ball wasn't really even to his spot. He just blows his guy up, sheds him, makes the tackle. That's in his 2nd career game, folks. And that is what he can do when he keeps his pad level correct and uses good technique. He can do that every play if he gets his technique down. The next play is against the New York Giants. They try to do a reach block on him. And once again, he fires off low, quick, with good pad level and hand usage, and you see what happens. So pause it real quick. He is at the defensive right tackle between the left guard and the center in what we call a 1 technique. And the left guard is going to try and reach over and block him. It doesn't go well. You see he uses strength and leverage to drive the guy backwards, makes the play. If we can see it in slow motion now. So he fires off the ball, he's low, gets his hands on him, keeps his feet moving, and he goes backwards. And boom, makes the play. Wayne Gallman, -2 yards. Once again, if he fires off with that technique every play, he is going to be a problem in this league. The next play is against the Miami Dolphins. The one thing before we started that I want to point out is that they are down 37-10 when this play happens in the 4th quarter. So obviously that's not good. But to see a guy still playing with this effort and motor right here at this point of a blowout loss is fantastic. So he's right there, swims, beats the second guy, and makes the tackle. And then when we move it to slow motion here, or to the other view, you'll see it. Run that one more time, Alex.
Absolutely.
So you'll see right there, swim, backs to, so the guy can't come through his hole. and then makes a play. You'll see it better in slow motion. He's right over the center. He swims the guard trying to do a reach block. Holds his lane so the running back can't run there. Right there. That is beautiful. And then when the running back cuts, he's fast enough to explode forward and make the play. This is why the 49ers picked him in the first round. There are not, like I said earlier, there are not many 320 plus pound men that can move that way. And that's another thing that shows if he puts this all together, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. The next play is Javon Kinlaw's first career sack. Everyone in the media, a lot of the fans were really on him for not getting any sacks. They came into the Saints game and he got 1.5 sacks and got caught sniffing his shoe on the sideline, so that was cool. Right here, he's working against the left guard. He's clearly getting held, powers through it, grabs Taysom Hill's leg. You can see it better from the other angle. So you see it right here. He's over number 62. He starts to beat him on the ball. 62 grabs onto his shoulder with both hands for dear life. He tries to go the other way. 62 is really holding. And then he just powers around him. 62 tries to do the yank down move when you're obviously holding, and he still can't do it because Kinlaw is so strong. And he powers through, works his way through, gets his first career sack. That's what happens when you play with a high motor and don't give up on a play just because you're getting held. The flag did get thrown on the play, by the way, if you were wondering. But this guy hanging on to one shoulder with both arms was unable to stop him when he kept his motor running and powered through. And a fantastic play here for his first career sack. The last play I'm going to show you that shows off a little bit of his athleticism was his interception for a touchdown. Second time they played the Rams. Jared Goff apparently thought a 6'6" guy in a white jersey was on his team and threw the ball to him and makes a great play. So right there, boom. And look at the big boy move with the dive, touchdown. You weren't stopping him. So right here, seriously, he starts to work the left guard, number 73, and he gets beat on this play. He gets beat by a double team, excuse me. And he sees Goff looking that way. If you see him turn and he's 6'6", he's going to get his arms up and knock the ball down. He knows that receiver's back there. He saw him coming. Goff just happened to throw it right to him. Instead of him batting it down, he gets a touchdown. And that was a really smart play from a young guy. He got beat, and the Rams do run a ton of those little drag routes behind the line. So getting your hands up, I'm sure they worked on it. If you look, he was about to do it right there. Then he steps over here. Goff is getting hit. Ball goes right to him. And you get another peek of his crazy athleticism right here once he has the ball in his hands. Because I don't know how many nose tackles make this play in the NFL right now. And he's moving right here. We get the extra little dive here for show, showing that the big guys can come up with some good celebrations too. 6 points Niners. So I think right there we saw with Kinlaw is that those are the high points of his play. He does have some low points of playing with high pad level. He's still struggling a little bit against double teams, against the better linemen. But the thing about him is he seems to always play with a high motor. He plays hard. The technique things are going to come. He had more good plays throughout the year than he had bad ones. And Kinlaw is just a physical monster if he continues to work hard and be coached well by Kasarik. Because we have to remember he did not have a full offseason program like a rookie usually gets. And so Kasarik did not get the time to work with him on the little details as much as I'm sure he would have liked. So I think Kinlaw is going to make a big jump here in year 2 statistically. I think he played very well, just didn't accumulate a lot of statistics. But I think this year you're going to see him do a lot more in the pass rush game and make a lot more tackles for loss behind the line of scrimmage. And like Ant pointed out, in the Dolphins play, he looked like DeForest Buckner was out there wearing 99. He made some fantastic plays this year.
He did make some fantastic plays. The clips you brought and showed definitely demonstrate the things we've been talking about with him dominating in the run game, how strong and physically dominant he is against guards, especially in this league. It's what makes him so special. It's why they took him in the first round where they took him. It makes all the sense in the world now why they loved the guy so much. He probably did remind them a lot of DeForest Buckner and some of the skill sets and the things that he could bring to the table. And they felt that with time, he could eventually be that guy who could replace Buckner because he's got a similar skill set.
Yeah, he's a big, talented, physical player. I'm sure that's what really drew them to him. But as far as like all the technique and then the, just the way learning how to play, you can tell he's thinking when he's on the field. He's still processing things as the defense, as he gets more seasons and gets more used to the defense. I'm sure he'll improve. I think that he's going to be a big-time player, but he's definitely got room to grow. And I think some of it we got to remember is he was kind of forced into the starting lineup this year. He really wasn't expected to play this many snaps. He played full games, and I think that's why you see his pad level get higher. The more tired you get, the higher your pad level goes. That was real effort from Chris Kasarik during the training camp to get him playing lower, get his pad level. I mean, all he was doing was hitting the bag, staying low.
Oh, he was just working on his bull rush. That's it.
Yeah, he was really working on it hard, and that's what you have to do before you put in the other stuff. You saw the swim move from the video that Horst showed. He's showing that he has skills, and they're elite skills. The more he plays, the better he's going to get. Full off season, this guy's going to know what to expect. He's going to have a grasp of the defensive scheme. He's gonna make plays next year.
But up next, we have a slightly older brother, Dre Green. I'm just kidding, they're not brothers. But the linebacker, Dre Greenlaw, up next on the docket, and that's my gentleman to break down. My goodness, he is essentially the newest member of the Hot Boys, except the Hot Boys, do they even exist anymore without Quan? No, I don't think they do.
I think
either.
they're the All-Pro boys now.
They're the All-Pro boys now. Dre Greenlaw isn't quite at that All-Pro level yet, but he has shown flashes of greatness, and it's not a stretch to assume that he's going to be there sometime very, very shortly. Well, first thing I'm going to do is start with some groundwork so you can understand why this guy is so good. Back in 2019, in his rookie season, we have some clips of him in Seattle against the Seahawks, and this one in particular stuck out to me mainly because this is a big-time game here. We're 8 games into the season. It's his 9th game. He's getting some serious run here against the Seattle Seahawks, and this is a play-action down in which Dre Greenlaw steps up and doesn't get fooled by the outside receiver coming up into his zone, getting an inside release to get across, and instead is able to recognize that there's play action and that the running back here is going to be dropping out into the flats, and does a great job of stretching him out. Russell Wilson looks for his check down and realizes Greenlaw is all over it. He has absolutely no way to go to Carson, or excuse me, this is Rashard Penny here. Rashard Penny out in the flats here to his left, and kind of has to tuck the ball down and try and make a play. Works out well for them here because Russell Wilson is a great magician, and he ends up completing a pass over the middle to DK Metcalf. But Dre Greenlaw's ability to recognize the play action, recognize Penny going out into the flats, breaking on it and stretching him towards the sideline, not really giving him a whole lot, forces Russ to tuck the ball down here. And this is one of those situations where you're just wanting your D-line to get in there and make the play because you've taken away his first option, and you took away his check down, his quick read option, and the pressure's mounting against Russ Wilson. The next clip we have is from that same exact game, and it's another situation in which Greenlaw here recognizes the flat coverage almost immediately and forces Russell to bail out of his look and try and go to the opposite side of the field. Again, on a nice little drop back action here, Russ gets the ball and looks to his right, and Greenlaw is all over the outside route. He realizes there's 2 people running out into the flat area. He has the tight end who came up off the ball and is running what looks like a flats route, but he's turning it upfield. He also sees the running back releasing out into the flats to Russell Wilson's right, and he breaks downhill on it, and this causes Russell Wilson to bail out of his reads on the right. He doesn't have anything. He tries to take off left to get something. He realizes he's not going to get past DJ Jones and ends up just throwing a ball towards the sideline, hoping to make a play, and it gets broken up by one of his DBs. It's an excellent example of Dre Greenlaw's play recognition 9 games into his rookie season, in which he was not expected to be on the field playing a whole lot at all. Up next, again, 2019, same exact thing, but this actually goes towards his intelligence as a rookie. You saw the flats coverage there, the play recognition from Dre Greenlaw, how well he got downhill, covered those flats areas, and did not give Russell Wilson his check down. He utilizes this here at the end of the game. In this same game, it was the first time they played the Seahawks in 2019, a game they lost in overtime because we have a backup kicker who can't make field goals, who wasn't Tristan Vizcaino, horse boy. But let's get to the clip. Let's get to the play. You can check it out for yourself. You can see here, goal line, Seahawks are going in. They need a score in OT to win. And they have, a flat route and the same exact release, tight end releasing out like he's going flats and turning it upfield. Dre Greenlaw recognizes the route, recognizes they ran the route combination already. He shows the hips like he's going downhill to take the flats route. Russell Wilson takes the bait, tries to throw the little wheel route to the tight end, and Dre Greenlaw is all over it. Check this thing out. Throws it over the top. Greenlaw sitting there in space, goes up, makes an athletic play, and then he's just going to go down the sideline and put us in field goal range for a kicker to just screw it up for us. But again, you can see here, furthest guy out, you can see him running downhill again, taking that inside angle on the flat routes, and as soon as that ball gets to the apex in terms of when Russell Wilson recognizes Dre Greenlaw's hips are forward and downhill like he's going to cover that flats route, Dre Greenlaw takes one step, plants, and extends back right towards Hollister. Russell Wilson lets the thing fly, and Greenlaw is all over it. It's a beautiful play to watch. It was one of the best plays, I think, of his rookie campaign. I know a lot of people want to talk about the stop of the goal line of Hollister being a big one in the final game of the season. But this one, for me, stands out as probably one of his best plays of the season he made because it demonstrated, number one, his football acumen, how well he understands the game, how well he understood the scheme that he was facing that night. Number two, his ability to execute in that scheme. And then number three, the fact that you were able to bait Russell Wilson as a rookie, a guy who is a perennial MVP candidate pretty much every year now for the past couple of seasons, into throwing this ball up. Absolutely incredible. Great job by Dre Greenlaw. It's why he's such a special talent. So now you got the base. You got the understanding of how talented this guy is. Now let's look at some clips from 2020, specifically against the Washington name redacted football team. Absolutely incredible here. Dre Greenlaw on a little fullback fake pitch play out to the running back is going to recognize, read the play, put his foot downhill. He doesn't overcommit on the fake. Sits in his gap, he ships over onto the left guard, sticks his foot in the ground, and is able to run him out of bounds for a 1-yard loss. Yes, you heard me right, a 1-yard loss. Demonstrates the speed, how quick and versatile he is as a linebacker, his ability to cover a wide range of space. Again, recognizes the running back comes out, he doesn't overcommit on the fullback, sprints out, beats him to the line of scrimmage essentially on the edge here, and was able to run him out of bounds. Jordan Willis here doesn't do a great job of setting the edge. He's almost looking and reading as if, what am I doing here? Was there a fullback at the ball? Oh no, that's a little pitch play out. I gotta go grab that. But it doesn't matter because Dre Greenlaw's got the speed to get there, not give up a big play. These were things early in the 2020 season that he was struggling with a little bit. He was struggling getting outside. He was struggling making tackles out in open space. And here he shows full circle come middle of the season, end of the season. He's corrected those things. He's still a force to be reckoned with. And in very short time is going to be one of the best linebackers in football.
All pro Dre.
Last clip, again against the Washington football name redacted. It's from 2020. Let's check it out. It's pretty impressive. A nice sweep play to the outside that looks like it should have something going because a lot of the linebackers do get sealed off and kind of get some contact to slow them down, but not Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw does not get touched by the guard trying to get upfield. Guard takes a pretty nice angle, but it just doesn't matter. Greenlaw's able to navigate through the traffic, get there, and make an excellent play on the football for only a gain of 3, and this looked like it could have gotten 4 or 5 or more if he's able to get to the edge. You can see the 2 linemen there doing a great job on Fred Warner. Greenlaw's able to navigate, get around the blocks in space, fill the hole in the gap that he's trying to cut up in, and take him right out of bounds. The thing that I find most incredible about this is how Fred Warner was able to get them in the right position. As the motion goes across the formation from right to left, or from the defense's left to their right, Warner follows the motion over, recognizes what the set is, him and Greenlaw shift over, and are literally sitting in the perfect spots to try and stretch this thing out towards the sideline and give him a whole lot of nothing. and Greenlaw is able to capitalize on Fred Warner's ability to recognize the play and get them into the right position for only a 3-yard gain, and an absolute incredible showing by this man. Dre Greenlaw is not only a force to be reckoned with, gentlemen, as you had pointed out and shouted out so eloquently, All-Pro Dre is probably a thing coming soon. You don't want to miss it.
Yep, this is going to be an all-pro linebacking core, I think. Fantastic, though. Dre, I like those plays that you brought up. The interception, just the fact that he sagged on his coverage and made that play, it's just fantastic. Also, the athletic ability that you showed in all these was awesome. Him just getting downhill, doing what he's supposed to do, playing linebacker at a high level. He grew a lot during this season. I was very impressed. I appreciated watching those clips too, because I think sometimes he's kind of overlooked with All-Pro Fred next to him, and we forget that, hey, Dre's on his way up. This should be his breakout year coming up, as long as he keeps moving and elevating in the right direction. So that was great to watch, because I want to make sure that I watch more of Dre, because he's a great player.
Yeah, Dre at the beginning of the year had a couple bad games. People kind of fell out of love with him, but he picked it up after that. He had a fantastic year about the last 10 games or so. He was fantastic. He was fun to watch. He's so fast, sideline to sideline and in coverage. He tackles well in the open field. Like he said, I'm really excited to see him play this upcoming year. I think he's going to have a big-time year.
And now for a man that's taken quite a lot of flack. It's been rough for McGlinchey. 2020 was not a good year for a lot of people. Wasn't a good year for Mike McGlinchey in terms of the criticism being thrown his way. But Ant, you think that some of that may be a little over the top? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I really wanted to take a look at Mike McGlinchey, because he has been getting so much heat, and I wanted to see what the difference was between 2019, where he was getting rave reviews, to 2020, which he was basically hated on every single week and blamed for every single sack. And what I found is that, were there areas that need to be improved during the offseason? Yes, there are. Did he have the best season he's had? Absolutely not. But is there still great things that Mike McGlinchey does? Absolutely. And I'm going to bring up some of those great things so we can remember that Mike McGlinchey's not a stiff out there just holding up the right side, but he's actually a very good player, especially in the run game. And when we get into these clips, you're going to be able to see just what he can do and some of the elite things he can do because of his athletic ability. So the first clip I'm going to show is from the Jets game. It's the very first play of the game, and they're just going to run a simple toss outside. What's so impressive about this is Mike McGlinchey is able to hook a defender that's way outside of him and get his hips around and be able to secure the outside and really set the edge for the 49ers. Here you'll see it. He got down the field. Now look at him get his hips around and really lock the guy out, making it so Mostert gets to the outside. Juice is able to hit the seal block right there, and then you're off to the races. This is fantastic. Not a lot of tackles can do this. He's perfect for Kyle Shanahan's scheme. And this is where just putting in a tackle from the draft, you have to make sure it's the right tackle. It can't just be the best tackle or whatever. That's why Mike McGlinchey is so perfect for Kyle Shanahan's offense. And in the run game, it's fantastic. Not a lot of guys can do this, and you just got to find the right one. But this is a fantastic block. The hook it's a great technique. This is what we want from Mike McGlinchey. If we see more of this, he'll just keep elevating his game. Now, Mike McGlinchey's run blocking is at another level, but the thing that's most criticized is his pass blocking and his technique and his skills. And a lot of people question how strong he was, and I think that's a question that definitely can be asked because of how it looks. But I want to show you guys a play from this season and how Mike McGlinchey was able to handle a pass rusher from the Cardinals. You're going to see the guy rush from the outside. Mike McGlinchey's down here at right tackle. You'll see once he gets his arms extended, he's able to manhandle the guy, not give up ground. And it's not like the defender is trying to play outside and keep outside leverage, because he knows the quarterback from the 49ers is not going to run. He's not a scrambler. So this is just Mike McGlinchey not giving up ground, proving he does have NFL tackle strength. He's able to hold his ground. What I liked in this one is he didn't kick slide really far back, and the reason was they were slide protecting and then had a play action look going the other way. So it kind of changed. I think he's better in these type of situations, which means if the 49ers were playing ahead of the ball a lot of times or ahead of the chains, they'd be able to run more play action and stuff. But I think that it really hurt him not having a big-time quarterback, because defenses knew that on 3rd and long they could just come after him. But this is one of the times that you see that Mike McGlinchey, he can pass block. He's able to play in the NFL. He's definitely a good player. And this one illustrated he had great hand placement, good bend in his knees and his hips. It was a great play from him. Probably one of the better pass blocks I've seen from him while watching film. Now, so we've showed that Mike McGlinchey, he's a good run blocker, but I'm going to show how Mike McGlinchey is special in Kyle Shanahan's offense, because some guys, especially when we had Jim Harbaugh, it was kind of you defeat the guy in front of you, you drive him back. In Kyle Shanahan's offense, you have to be able to get to second level and get there fast, and you need to be able to block guys downfield. Mike McGlinchey is one of the best at doing that, and this next clip is going to illustrate exactly what the zone scheme does and how Mike McGlinchey can execute Kyle Shanahan's scheme. So he's playing right tackle up top. He's going to get off the ball, and he's getting downfield fast, and he's able to just blow up the linebacker. He pushes him all the way down the field, and you see the big-time run from Wilson. This is one of the best plays you will see from an offensive tackle in the run game. Look at him get off. He's taking an angle to beat the linebacker to the spot. He's got his hands on him. He's fighting him. Now the running back's going to have a choice. He's gonna set his numbers one way or the other, and the running back can go. But he never has to, because the defender's giving up so much ground from McGlinchey driving downfield. This is exactly how you teach them to block from the very first day. That's excellent technique. It's so hard to block linebackers down the field like that, but he made it look easy. This is what separates Mike McGlinchey from a lot of tackles in the run game. And if he could get his pass game to the level of his run game, not only would he be one of the best tackles in the league, but he would take this offense to a whole nother level. All right, so now we're going to go into the well and show some of Mike McGlinchey's best moments, and this is one of them. It's against the Ravens, and you're going to see Mike McGlinchey moving. It's an outside zone. He's going to move, but he's going to peel back and make one heck of a block. This is the all-pro level run blocking of Mike McGlinchey, especially last year and some this year. So let's go ahead and show the play. All right, here he is at right tackle. You can see Kittle comes in motion, and they're going to set up the outside play over here. You got Mostert running, and you got him. He's flowing with it, and then boom, peel back and make this great block that frees up Mostert to get beyond the line of scrimmage, so Mostert can do the most with his athletic ability. It's one heck of a block by Mike McGlinchey. Not a lot of guys can do that. The awareness to be able to be moving, flowing, blocking, and then be able to come back. It's just fantastic. I love the way he just gets down the field, and then he keeps his eyes up. Look at him look back, locate the linebacker who has a chance to make a play, and make a fantastic block. That's next level from Mike McGlinchey. This is one of the best plays you'll see from a right tackle in the NFL, and a reason that Mike McGlinchey deserves to be a starter in the NFL. I like this play, and I think Mike McGlinchey is going to do great continuing because of plays like this. The last clip I have with Mike McGlinchey is going to be the NFC championship game in 2019. I think everyone knows what was the staple of the offense, and we're going to show you exactly why it was the staple of the offense, because of players like Mike McGlinchey. So Mike McGlinchey's down here at the bottom, right tackle. He's got his hand down. He's ready to roll. Kittle comes in motion. Looks familiar from the last play. This time it's a toss outside. McGlinchey's going to push up to second level and make a fantastic block that's going to seal the edge. And he continues blocking all the way through, creates the lane for Mostert to have a great play. These second level blocks are so necessary in the offense. That's what separates a 3 and 4 yard gain from a big run like you just saw from Mostert, where he got 34 yards. This is next level stuff. It's hard to be able to do this, get up to that second level and secure a block on a linebacker. He helps, he chips, and then he gets upfield, and it's a proper angle so he can get himself between the ball carrier and the defender. And then he rides the guy around, takes him upfield where Mostert can make the most of the lane that he's given, and Mostert does just that. The way he chipped and got upfield is textbook. This is offensive tackle in the NFL at its finest. These are plays that make you just think, oh my gosh, Mike McGlinchey is so necessary in this offense. So these are plays that make you happy for him in 2021, that maybe he can return to form, because these are fantastic plays and show the worth that Mike McGlinchey has for the 49ers.
Whoo, gentlemen. Wow. Absolutely incredible, man. Mike McGlinchey, as you said, bro. I mean, especially if he can return to 2019 form in both the pass and the run game. The pass game is always the thing that he's got to work on. It's the thing he needs to develop, I guess, is the right word, the most. But I'll tell you what, man, in the run game, if that man is blocking anything like the last two clips you just shown, this run game is dangerous.
Yeah, Mike McGlinchey has played at an all-pro type level in the past. He had a little bit of a down year this year, and I think it's big. That's a big thing they need to figure out this offseason. He needs to figure out, the coaching staff needs to figure out what happened. Why did he appear to make so many mistakes? Was he injured? Was it a technique thing? On some of them, it looks to be a technique thing, correct?
Sometimes it's a technique thing. He lets defenders get into his body a little bit and doesn't protect his chest plate. What you have to do, you have to make sure the defenders can't get their hands on you, get their arms extended, and be in control. And sometimes he did let that happen. He also looked a little bit weaker, and they were able to get under him, push him back, get into the chest plate and push him back. And as soon as that pocket started collapsing, especially the inexperienced quarterbacks like Mullins and Beathard really wanted to climb the pocket fast, and they rushed passes and it made it look bad. And that's what made Mike McGlinchey look worse, was the technique problems.
Yeah, but I think he definitely has it in him to return to 2019 form. We saw the flashes of it, and if you notice, that game that you pulled multiple good plays out of from this year was the 15th game of the season.
Right.
So, and he seemed to play a little better the last few weeks. So maybe he got whatever was wrong a little bit corrected towards the end of the year. But I'm still a fan. I still think he's a piece that they need moving forward. I'm not as down on him as other people.
I think he's also someone, Horst, that was a lot better at pass in 2019, pass protection, because of how good the run game was.
Yeah.
It didn't allow people to be able to take advantage and pin their ears back and come. He's somebody that they need. They need the run game to go well. He needs it really bad to be able to go well. And that's why they have to figure out the quarterback situation so they can move the pocket, really get into Kyle's system, stretch run game, get the outside zone going, so that way they're able to roll the pocket, move. That'll help his game big time. And then use the attributes that he has, getting downfield and making these downfield blocks and able to hook outside defenders and get upfield. Those are the kind of things that are going to make it big time for Mike McGlinchey and put him into the higher names as far as tackles go in the NFL.
Absolutely. But now we got some player grades to hand out on these players from this 2020 season. We'll start with your guy, Horst. What do you got for Javon Kinlaw for 2020?
Because he was replacing a guy like Buckner and was forced into the starting lineup to play more than he should have, I will give him a C+. I think had he played this way in the role he was expected to play, we would be looking more B+. But being he played as many snaps as he did, I'll give him a C+, which I think for a rookie is a good year.
It's definitely not a bad year, and that's kind of where I'm at. It's hard to... I do feel he played above average. I do feel he played more into that B category. He was so dominant in the run game in terms of establishing himself and not getting pushed back. Very rarely did you see him getting driven back 3-4 yards or getting eaten completely alive by double teams for a majority of the game. It was very rare when it happened, but there were a lot of struggles in the pass game for him. I think I kind of have to agree with you, Horace. It's probably closer to a C+, and it's solely because of how many snaps he had to play. I think if like Horace said, he had been in the role that we all kind of thought he was going to be, which was not a starter, a guy who would come in on certain downs and play significantly fewer snaps, he would have had an A or an even B season. But having to be an every down starter as a rookie with a completely torn up D line and no pass rush off the edge, I think he did pretty darn good for his rookie campaign.
Yeah, I think he looked like a developmental player, somebody that they thought they were going to get their hands on and be able to develop, and then he was forced into the starting lineup and play more snaps than he ever thought he was going to have to play. Mm-hmm. You like the skill set, the strength, the speed. Those are the kind of things that tore up the SEC just because of how powerful he was. In the NFL, everyone's powerful, so now you have to play with great pad level technique. Sometimes his technique lacked, especially late in games as he got more tired. I think that's normal. Chris Kasarik is going to get this guy in the right spot, but I think you're right. I give him a C. I don't think I can give him anything higher than that because I don't think he played better than average, but I didn't expect him to play better than average this year. I think that Bosa and them would have been in the lineup, would have made his stats even better because he would have got more one-on-one matchups and just more favorable matchups with them having to chip and double team the other guys. But he'll come on in the future, and I think that a C is all you really could expect from him. Anyone that expected more doesn't really understand how hard it is to go from the SEC, where you're just stronger than everyone else, to playing full-fledged defensive tackle in this kind of wide nine scheme.
Absolutely. Up next after that, we had my boy, Dre Greenlaw, one of the Law brothers, the oldest of the Law brothers. I have to give him a solid B+ this year. I'm not going to say A-. I think the struggles early in the season didn't help and exacerbated a lot of the issues that we were having early in the season. I do feel that, especially those last 10 games, as Horsey pointed out, he came on strong. That Washington game was clips galore. You don't understand how long it took me to pick the clips I wanted to pick from that Washington football team game. He played incredible that day. Absolutely incredible. It's the type of performance I was hoping to see from him very early in the season this year to kind of set himself apart in that linebacking core and the outside linebacking duo with him and Quan before K1 ended up moving on. We ended up trading him. But I'll tell you what, I'm really excited to see what this guy can do going forward. Solid B+ for me on Dre Greenlaw.
I'm going to give Dre Greenlaw a B-. There's too many games that he missed tackles and missed coverages, especially when he played the weak side linebacker early on when Quan Alexander was still there. I thought Dre Greenlaw could have played a lot better, and I think if he would have, that defensive linebacking core would have been elite, and it just really wasn't. And once he moved to the Sam, strong linebacker, he looked really good. And I thought, as you mentioned, as the season went on, he progressed. I don't think it progressed enough to put him higher than, the grade that I gave him. But I think that he has a lot of room for improvement. And like we mentioned before, I think it's all-pro Dre Greenlaw is coming next year. I think this will be his breakout season. I don't know if he'll actually get an all-pro, but he'll definitely be up there. Him and Fred Warner are going to be out there cracking skulls and just mauling people, and I can't wait for it. I'm all for the all-pro linebacking core.
I'm going to go between you guys and give him a B. I thought, kind of along the lines of things you both said, is that unfortunately when he played weak side linebacker, he was took advantage of a little bit, especially early on in the season. And then he had a couple games where he just was a bad tackler. He did, especially towards the beginning, once again. Now, towards the end, like you said, the Washington game, the second Seattle game, the second Arizona game, the second Rams game, those games he all played fantastic in, and he made a lot of big plays. Because I think coming up into those games, he was a CC+. And then he elevated his game. And I agree with both of you that he is going to be a big-time player coming up and keep developing. He's scary, athletic, and big and strong for he's big, strong, and athletic in ways that not many people are when you combine them together. And I think he's going to be a big-time football player.
Yeah, definitely going to be a big-time football player. Mike McGlinchey's great now. I think this is the one everyone's probably the most excited about who's watching this right now. What are you guys going to say? What are you going to give him? You better not give him what we think you're going to give him. Only one way to find out. Ant, we'll start with you. He was your dude, Mike McGlinchey. Grade him.
Yeah, I broke down a lot of film, and Mike McGlinchey didn't show up in 2020 like he showed up in 2019. The play just wasn't there at that level. It was at times cringeworthy to watch. I have been a starch supporter of him. Horst has as well. We definitely like Mike McGlinchey and the things that he can do, but grading him on technique and some of the things that he should be doing well, it just wasn't there. And I mean, I hate to do this because I actually like the guy, but I'm going to give him a D+ because I don't think he did what he was supposed to do, and I'm critical. I coached. I know what's going on the offensive line, and that wasn't it. And he needs to step up his game in a big way. He has the potential to play at a way higher than this. In 2019, I would have said he probably played at a B+ level, and he fell all the way to a D-. He needs to figure it out. He needs to fix his technique. He needs to fix his strength issues. And if he does, then the 49ers will be able to move on in the future with a great right tackle. But if they don't, it might be position change for him or sayonara.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I'm going to go with a D. And the reasoning behind giving him a D is that he's shown how good he can be. I'd say if he was a random guy, this was his first year starting, I might have graded him a little better, more towards the C. But we've seen how good Mike McGlinchey can be. So if you're basing this grade off off the 2019 performance, this is a D. To be honest, I mean, he had a poor year. He did not play to his potential, and we struggled to run the ball to that side. The year before, it was a lot easier. He struggled in pass pro. Like I said, I think he picked it up a little the last few games, but he really needs to come back and have a bigger year next year because he's a huge part of what they do. Or like you said, he's going to have to switch to guard because his pass blocking was that bad this year.
Yeah.
It was really bad this year. When giving this grade, it's hard for me to grade you out based on what you've done in the past. As a coach, that is your job. Your job is to see what a guy can do at his best and his greatest potential and what his worst tendencies are. And when he shows you can be great at something, you have to hold him to that standard. I agree 100%. That's how you do it as a coach. It's the only way you get the best out of your players. But I'm not coaching him here. I'm grading him here. And if I have to grade him, it's a C. Yes, he had his bad moments, and as Horst pointed out on plenty of our other podcasts, he has at least one really bad pass pro play a game where he gets absolutely destroyed, and he shouldn't. And he was not solid for most of his pass pros. And while he did have some struggles in the run game this year, I don't believe all of that is attributed to him so much as it is getting in and out of some plays that we shouldn't. And he did make a lot of great blocks on a lot of great plays to spring some guys, including a clip we have coming up in the next episode with Brandon Ayuk, in which he absolutely destroys a corner at the second level to spring him for a touchdown. Mike McGlinchey had some very high moments this year, but he also had a lot of low moments this year, which is why for me grades out right in the middle at a C, because we don't expect the low moments. You do expect the high moments. So for me, when he does all the things he's supposed to do as a run blocker, and when he doesn't get beat, like in the Arizona clip and the pass pro, it's like, okay, great, that's exactly what you're supposed to be. We already know you can do that. It's not something that you light up and get all excited about because you expect that kind of performance out of Mike McGlinchey. You don't expect the low lows, like in the Langston Tomlinson clip from the last episode, which if you haven't watched that, you should go watch that. Click the little link above my head.
It was good.
In which he gets absolutely destroyed on one of the stunt pickups for Langston Tomlinson, picks up the stunt, and Mike McGlinchey gets put on his behind as Nick Mullins throws an interception. Those are the type of things you hate to see from Mike McGlinchey. Those are the type of things you don't want to see from Mike McGlinchey. But overall, about an average year for him. The problem with average for Mike McGlinchey is we know he's not an average player. He's an above average player, if not great player, when he's dialed in and doing all the things he needs to do. He needs to get that stuff fixed.
So what did you guys think about our grades? What did you think about our breakdown? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime we post a video. We usually post at 5:30 Pacific on Tuesday and Friday, but this week there might be an extra episode. Who knows? Make sure you're paying attention so you never miss a single second of this great content.
Question, if we have a third episode, will it be specifically at 5:30?
It definitely will be specifically at 5:30, and you guys know what time it is. Let's chalk another one up.
Specifically.